Hey, this is Cameron. Welcome back to the Busy Gardener channel. Today we are doing a quick look at what happens when your peach tree or nectarine tree get peach leaf curl. Let's get busy. You guys know when you have a tree going, you're hopeful for the fruit. That's ultimately what you want. One step back from that, you want your tree to at the very least be healthy and vibrant and vigorous. So imagine my shock and sadness when I came out. Notice what was happening to this nectarine tree. Nectarine and peach are essentially the same fruit, except for nectarines just don't have fur. They're not fuzzy. And so something that happens from time to time is there's a fungus that grows on these trees that causes what's called peach leaf curl. Peach leaf curl can be very, very dangerous to a tree, especially if you're getting it in the amounts that we've gotten on these two nectarines. This year in Southern California, the weather was especially warm. We had some very, very cold times as well, but overall it was warm and it was wet for way longer. I mean, we're in the middle of April right now and it just stopped raining, which for us is really, really late. And so it's interesting to see the difference between the early blooming peaches versus the later blooming ones. The early ones weren't touched as bad. You notice that even with this spicy nectar plum, the foliage is generally good, but then you've got some instances of this peach leaf curl here. This mid-pride peach is generally healthy, but has some instances of that same curl. And so what happens is the ones that came out early were able to bud and start working before that fungus got a hold of those little leafing buds, those vegetative buds, and messed them up. Versus, especially these two nectarines, this Double Delight nectarine and this Arctic Glow nectarine behind me, they really took a turn for the worst. And if you look closely, you notice how just gnarled these are. There's hardly any foliage on here. So the way that you're able to avoid something like this is in the wintertime. There are a couple of times over winter, you go and you use an overwintering spray like a fungicide, like a copper spray, and that kills the fungus. And then right before the buds, when the buds are swelling, you want to come through again ideally and spray these down, and that kills all that fungus. So regardless of whether or not it's wet, we just really got wiped out. Now I'm hoping that this tree takes some of the reserves that it has and puts out a second flush of growth, which hopefully will not be as devastating as this first flush of growth. But I'm already starting to see a little bit of tree stress here in the wood. Some little bit of some areas of dieback. So another season like this, and this tree would be done for. So these are two established trees. I really want to make sure that they do well. I noticed that my Saturn peach, not as bad, but almost as bad as some of these. So be sure to do your fungicide in the winter. Do the fungicide just as these things are budding, because otherwise you will come out and see things like this. One thing I'm going to do is if I see any type of fruit on here, I'm going to go through and knock it off. The tree does not need to be spending its time and energy trying to grow fruit. I want it to just stay alive. So I'm going to be taking off the fruit. Also, any of the foliage that is coming off, you ideally want to be able to rake that up and just get it out of here. They say to take it offsite and burn it, so that way the fungus doesn't have a place to hang out. What a shame. Hey, have you had any types of issues like this? Have you had something that's worked for you? What's worked well for your tree regimen during the wintertime? Spraying for, with oil to kind of get those overwintering pests, or some sort of fungicide? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, if you're not yet a subscriber to the Busy Gardener channel, now would be a great time to do it, this second. And hey, whether you've got one healthy tree in your orchard or 500, until next time, stay busy. Yeah, because I want to see the shock on your face when you see how.
I'll try it again.
But this is really bad.
Yeah, this is sad.
Look at this one's even worse.
Still budding though.
Yeah, they've got some stuff.
Producing